Hello, my name's Kate. I am the intuitive wedding doula, and I support women to feel present, beautiful, and loved on their wedding days. Now, I'm making this introductory video to just introduce myself and let you know why I decided to become a wedding doula. So, first of all, I do want to say this is my first video and I am a little bit nervous, but I'm really excited to reach out and connect with you. And if you're watching this and going through the wedding journey, I just want you to know that I've been there. We, as a group of women throughout history, have experienced this incredible transformation, and it's normal to feel all of the things that you're feeling right now. So to begin with, I just want to tell you a little bit about my wedding journey. I have been married for 4 years. I just celebrated my anniversary a couple weeks ago. And I began that journey right off the bat after I got engaged, after wanting to be engaged for months and months and months, probably a year of waiting for him to propose. I was totally caught off guard by an overflowing amount of emotion after he proposed, and I couldn't explain what it was that was making me just pour tears, but I was overwhelmed by emotion. And I'd say I just sort of dove right into the planning process right afterwards. I didn't really linger in that place, which is understandable, as it was just pretty overwhelming what I was feeling. And I just jumped right into planning, and throughout that planning process, my partner and I would converse about expectations and visions, and I would be lying if I said it was all 100% smooth, because wedding planning isn't 100% smooth. There's lots of bumps in the road, and that's even with an incredibly supportive family. Both my family and my partner's family were incredibly supportive, did not assert their own agendas, were financially supportive. So those things can add a whole nother layer of stress when familial expectations are added to just our own personal ones, the societal ones. So we went through the planning process. We did have a few hiccups along the way. We had sent out save the dates, and about 9 months before the wedding, our venue canceled on us, and so we had to, spur of the moment, find a new venue. And I think, like a lot of women would tell you, it worked out beautifully, and it was a wonderful place to get married and fit our vision even more so than our original venue. But that stuff is not what my wedding doula practice is about. My wedding doula practice was actually birthed from a role I played at a friend's wedding just spontaneously, and that was to be there for the bride and also the mother of the bride and the mother of the groom on the wedding weekend. And the wedding weekend can be really overwhelming for people. The amount of people who are just coming in that you love so dearly and want to spend the whole weekend just talking to that one person, but you are getting married, and that's a huge deal. Plus, there's all these other people that are there that you want to see, and there's an incredible amount of joy, but also this letting go of our old nuclear family and what I like to call the birth of your new family, this family that you're creating with your partner that is through this union, and that union is both part of your independent nuclear families, but brand new, and in birthing that family, you are creating this new separation from your old family. And so that brings up all sorts of emotions, both for the bride and groom, but also for the bride and groom's families. Even their friends, too, it can bring up all sorts of unexpected emotions besides the joy and happiness and celebration, which we all are familiar with at weddings. So I was working with this woman, a dear friend of mine, and I had come from a not a retreat, but essentially a retreat with my really good friends, and I had just gotten to the core centered essential me place where I was just being my natural self and letting myself do what felt good and true to my soul. And I just played this role, and I made sure the bride ate, had room to herself so that she could rest and collect herself and have time to take care of herself. And in doing so, I took on small roles to support the mothers of the bride and groom to make sure that the wedding was, all the little details were getting taken care of. And through that process, I got so much feedback from those people that were so thankful for just that person who is there with no judgment, able to listen to them about what they were feeling in that moment. And I felt totally alive. That was like, it was so natural and so such a place of ease for me to be in that role. And I felt this calling of, yeah, I like doing that for people. I love to be there for people and help them acknowledge and move through their emotions without judgment. So that actually happened before I got married, that role. And I don't know if you've experienced this, but sometimes you get these glimpses of what you feel like you're meant to be doing, but you don't necessarily drop everything and start that project right that instant. So I carried that in the back of my mind and went along with my normal life, working as a high school science teacher, and went through my wedding journey, which informed me a lot about what it's like to get married. And then just 2 months after I got married, I found out my dad was sick. I'm gonna get all teary. By the time I found out, he couldn't really speak. He had something going on with his tongue. And so I went from celebrating my wedding to the process of saying goodbye to my father, which, if you haven't experienced the loss of a parent, I don't know if I can describe it to you, because while it was incredibly hard, it also sort of strips away any facades that I had put up about who I was and who I was meant to be, and just boiled me down to that, like, essential Kate, which was a similar place as I was when I was the wedding doula for my friend. And so deep deep down there, I sort of doulaed my dad through his transition. And felt again that sense of just being completely alive, connected, spiritually, and while that time was incredibly hard and emotional, and obviously it still is difficult to think about, it connected me to the source, myself, the universal energy, whatever you want to call it, in a way that had never happened before in my life. And it was, I knew it wouldn't sustain forever, but I also knew that this seed was with me for the rest of my life. And it reminded me that that's my life purpose, is to help support people through transitions and be there to offer wisdom and acknowledgement and help people sort of support themselves through what they know they can do and what they know that they're moving towards, but perhaps, like we all do when there's something uncomfortable, perhaps we're avoiding it a little bit. So with the support of another good friend who is an independent business owner, I started to develop the idea of the intuitive wedding doula. And I started with wedding doula, and I added intuitive because that's really my strength, I think, is knowing what people need before they know they need it, and somehow sort of seeing through what someone's telling me to perhaps a deeper place, or at least questioning where is that coming from? Is that really what this is about? Or have you thought about perhaps this being a potential player in how you're thinking about this situation? So that brings me to today and why I'm sitting here, because I'm ready to share this gift with the world. I've been planning and doing this in the privacy of my home, working on my website, my Facebook page, but I'm ready to connect with you. I'm ready to connect us and create a community of women to support each other through this wedding journey. And my first project is to gather a group of women who are planning to be wed and create a monthly support group for us to chat and share our experiences, whether that's booking a venue or dealing with our mother's preferences, choosing a plate, or the deeper, maybe some doubts coming up, some questions about who you are or what you're creating. There's so many things that come up during the wedding process. I can't list them all, or even like grasp at the individual ones that you might be grappling with. But I would love for you to join me and some other women in creating a space to be grounded and find that inner self. That's what I want for you, is that experience that I found being totally and completely centered and connected to my higher being. I want to help you find that amidst the sea of change that is planning a wedding. And it's not easy, and it takes some dedication and commitment to making the space for that. But I do truly believe that making the time and space for that is absolutely transformational and so important for the health of yourself and your partner and the beautiful family that you are beginning with this wedding. I'm gonna stop there because this video is getting long. I could probably talk a lot more, but if you would like more information, please visit my website, intuitiveweddingdoula.com. I also have a Facebook page if you'd like to check that out. And please reach out to me. My contact information is on my website, and I'd be happy to just speak with you about what is going on with you right now, and perhaps plan a vision of how I could support you in the wedding journey. To be continued with another video another time. Namaste.